Have you ever just been sitting down with your friends and you're just kind of talking about so bad that it's good movies that you've watched and shooting the shit and all that? Well, a few months ago, me and my friends were doing exactly that. And one friend recommended me a specific movie, and that movie is Abominable. And after I watched the movie, my mind was blown. Not enough people are talking about this. This is a contender for best worst movie out there. The movie is like the most insane roller coaster ride you'll ever go on. It's non-stop. You're going all over the place. You're doing loop-de-loops, ups and downs. You're going down crazy inclines, going up crazy inclines. It's insane. And you never have a moment to process what you're watching until the movie is over. And even then, you're like so baffled by everything you've seen that it's hard to describe. I have been trying to make this review for a few weeks now, and it's really hard to do because every time I sit down to talk about the movie, it just goes off the rails because I don't know how to describe it. So I want to call out this friend. Cody, you bastard. You have made my life a living hell, and I have not been able to get any fucking sleep because of this goddamn movie. You sick bastard. Look into the eyes of this sick bastard right here. He ruined my life. The opening scene is probably the perfect way to introduce yourself to this film, because it perfectly shows you for the type of ride you're in for. It's a much lighter, sort of easier ride, kind of eases you into things, but also a quick hard slap to the face of the insane shit this movie is going to be throwing your way. The movie opens with a husband and a wife waking up to some noise outside of their home. Now the husband, Billy, reaches for a shotgun and grabs their dog and goes running out to investigate. But his wife tells him that he shouldn't go out there, and we get one of the most awkward cuts I've ever seen in a movie.
What is it?
Probably them damn coyotes.
You're not going out there.
Another funny thing about the opening is that he believes that there are coyotes outside and attacking his farm animals.
Probably them damn coyotes.
So the dog he has on his farm to help deal with coyotes is a fucking poodle. Not exactly a poodle, I don't know what its breed is called, but that is the least intimidating dog to use in a way to chase off coyotes. I can't imagine a dog like this dealing with a coyote. So Billy, Ethel, and the dog all go running outside and go charging after to where they heard the sound.
God damn it. Come on, Sparky. Come on.
Billy!
And then we get the hilarious reveal of a plastic reindeer decoration covered in fake blood and like bargain cheap meat they bought at a butcher or something strewn across it. And we are supposed to believe that this plastic reindeer is a big ass horse that has been mauled and ripped open, and it makes no sense to them how that could have happened.
Wait for me.
Oh my God. Ethel. This ain't no coyote.
The dog then loses its shit and runs off into the woods, and well...
Sparky, no! Get back here! Sparky!
That's right, the dog dies in this movie. You might have hoped that this scrappy little fellow would have survived to the end. Maybe even been the hero of our film. But no, he runs off and dies like a little bitch. Rest in peace, Sparky Sparkerino III. We are not even given a moment to mourn the tragedy that has just unfolded, for we are then given one of the most awkward silhouette reveals of our villain ever.
Sparky?
Ethel, Back. Away. Real slow. Run now!
Billy and Ethel then book ass and run back to their home, close the door, lock it, and we get a bunch of like stock horror movie monster sound effects in the background with this loud stock music playing over the scene.
Shh, shh.
And you're going to notice that a lot throughout this movie. A lot of stock sound effects. The noise then stops, and Billy and Ethel decide to go outside and investigate. Again, although they just ran for their lives from the thing that could still possibly be there. There are basically Bigfoot feet impressions on the ground, and they're like too perfectly placed there. Like usually when you walk in the snow, it's more of like a pressed down imprint. But this motherfucker stepped on the snow, and all the snow underneath his foot just disappeared. I don't know if I've ever seen an opening to a movie that bewildered me as much as this one did. It is truly just a weird smorgasbord of bad movie making all in one, creating a hilarious short film. Like, if I saw this posted on YouTube, I would think, ha, that's funny, this was done to be funny. But I don't know if watching it in this movie, it was meant to be funny and more so to scare me. Like, I think the full intent of this opening scene is to scare me. And I don't know how they thought that would work. We are then introduced to our main character and the secondary antagonist of the film, Preston and Otis. We're kind of given a hint at the power dynamic of these two characters by a very brief window of the opening.
Come on.
Yo, my dad, he's not like the rest. He's kinda like a cute girl, just minus the breasts. He got a solid 4-inch.
Hey, what are you doing?
Let's get this show on the road.
Oh, I was listening to that.
What do you say we lay a few ground rules right now, Preston? Dr. Rayner, he released you into my care. That means I'm going to be calling the shots from here on out.
With just that small interaction, we can tell how big of a dick Otis is going to be to Preston throughout the rest of the movie. And it really helps establish this sort of weird power dynamic between the two characters. It is hinted at in this scene that Preston has been out here before, and he mentions that he really, really does not want to return. But Otis, in dickhead fashion, tells him that he has no choice and that it is doctor's orders, whatever that means. And based off of all that information, you realize that Otis is an at-home nurse or a caretaker or someone along that line who is being paid to force Preston to return here to confront something. I don't know how a doctor can order someone to go somewhere that isn't a medical facility, but whatever, we need to get our main characters out here somehow. So here it is. You're also going to learn really quickly that Otis is an unlikable asshole. Every scene he is in, he is just being a dick to be a dick. And to be fair here, Preston is technically his boss. So why is he able to get away with being such a huge dick to this character? Because at the end of the day, if Preston says you're fired, he's fired. This is the guy signing your paychecks. I feel like you would want to be kissing his ass a bit. Hello, editing big man here. I just wanted to clarify something I just said here. Preston isn't the one exactly signing Otis's paychecks. More than likely, it's his insurance company paying a agency that hires caretakers to send to specific people. While yes, Preston isn't the one technically signing his paychecks, he is still his boss and has the ability to fire Otis. Just wanted to clarify that here. Something else to point out here is that the acting abilities between the two range widely. The actor who plays Preston, Matt McCoy, is not that bad, while the actor that plays Otis, Kristen Tinsley, is fucking awful. Otis and Preston then drive off and reach a gas station. And Otis heads in, and then we are introduced to the gas station clerk, who is played by the legendary B-movie actor Jeffrey Combs. And this is a funny scene. Like, very much intentionally funny to me. You can tell that they just wanted a cheesy, corny, movie cliche kind of parody of the creepy gas station attendant with the foreboding warning of what's to come. It's also the only scene where Otis's actor's performance is enjoyable because it's good and it works with the scene, instead of it being corny and bad and making me laugh for how bad it is. And honestly, Otis is a super enjoyable part of the movie because of how big of an asshole he is, and you just love to hate him. But him just not giving a shit about anything this gas station clerk is telling him is kind of funny to me. We learned that Preston is kind of famous locally, and he's surprised to see him return after what happened last year. We learned that his wife died in a rock climbing accident, and he reveals to us where this accident happened in the most over-the-top, cornball, cheesy way.
It happened right up there. Suicide Rock. Not many people go up there nowadays, I can tell you that.
So after Otis leaves, the gas station attendant returns, and we get a jump scare sound effect newspaper reveal. Of an article stating that the town could be dealing with a Bigfoot problem after what happened in the opening scene of the movie. And you can tell that is 100% the dumbest shit you could ever see as the front headline of any fucking newspaper in the world. So Preston and Otis then finally arrive at the cabin, and we are given the realization that Preston is handicapped, and it makes sense why there is this power dynamic between Otis and Preston. Preston is more reliant on Otis than a normal person would have to be. He can't walk, he can't drive, he can't get upstairs, and Otis kind of has this place of power over him. Even if he is technically his boss, it starts to make sense to you why Otis is such a dick to him, because he has an overwhelming amount of power over this person's life. And I have to give credit where credit's due. Having the reveal at this exact moment kind of works. For a moment, Preston is then left alone, and he stares up at Suicide Rock and has a flashback to the tragedy that befell him the year before. Otis then just comes over, picks him up, carries him into the house, and they then have a conversation about milk and how Preston is allergic and he's a soy boy cuck that needs his soy milk.
Charlie, hold on a second. Yeah.
Can't make your shake unless you want regular milk.
You didn't bring the soy milk?
Regular milk's not gonna kill you, Preston.
Otis, I'm allergic.
All right. I'll go back into town and I'll buy you some.
Otis, in classic dickhead fashion, complains and whines about getting the soy boy his soy milk, but leaves, making himself seem like a heroic figure, doing Preston the biggest favor ever to help him get his soy milk by leaving for 10 minutes tops to drive back to the supermarket and buy the soy boy his soy milk. leaving Preston alone to the inner thoughts of his mind.